Item Number SCP-701. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. All material relating to SCP-701 are to be kept under triple-locked archive at storage site redacted. These items currently consist of the 2 currently extant copies of the 1640 Quarto, 27 copies of the 1965 trade paperback edition, 10 copies of a 1971 hardcover printing, 21 floppy diskettes consisting of data seized from raids on Expunged, 1 SVHS videocassette tape designated SCP-701-19 redacted A, and 1 steel knife of unknown origin designated SCP-701-19 redacted B. At no time are any of these items to be removed from the room. Access to the area is to be heavily monitored. Absolutely no personnel whatsoever is to be granted access to the archive without the express in-person permission of Doctors L. Redacted, R. Redacted, and J. Redacted. Description: SCP-701. The Hanged King's Tragedy is a Caroline-era revenge tragedy in 5 acts. Performances of the play are associated with sudden psychotic and suicidal behavior among both observers and participants, as well as the manifestation of a mysterious figure classified as SCP-701-1. Historical estimates place the number of lives claimed by the play at between redacted and redacted over the past 300 years. Performances of The Hanged King's Tragedy do not always end with an outbreak. Of the redacted recorded performances, only redacted 36.78% have ended in SCP-701 events. According to historical records and investigations, these outbreaks generally follow the same pattern: 1 to 2 weeks, 7 to 14 days prior to the event. During the dress rehearsal period, cast members will begin to spontaneously deviate from the published text of the play, rather than improvisation or gaffes associated with going off script. Said deviations will be both orderly and consistent, as if the actors were working off a new version of the script. The cast and production crew will seem unaware of any change, and if brought to their attention, will state that the play has run that way from the beginning. 2 to 3 hours prior to the event, the outbreak generally occurs during opening night, or else at the production with the greatest planned attendance, generally falling within the first week after the play's opening, 1 to 2 hours before the event. SCP-701-1 begins to appear on stage in the final scene of Act 1, generally in the background or to the side of the main action. It may seem to enter or exit the stage area, but does not appear to ever enter the backstage or offstage area. It simply disappears when not on stage. The cast does not appear to notice or comment on SCP-701-1, at least at first. The event, SCP-701-1, appears fully on stage during the banquet scene in Act 5. Here, it will be incorporated into the action of the play as the Hanged King. The cast will either murder each other or commit suicide, sometimes using items that seem to appear spontaneously on stage. Rioting breaks out in the audience, with viewers randomly attacking anyone in front of them, regardless of prior relationship. Following the event, if any of the audience members survive the initial outbreak, they may exit the performance space, in which case they will continue to engage in random or opportunistic violence. Victims will generally require sedation or restraint in this scenario. Normal personality will begin to return roughly 24 hours after the event. Surviving victims will generally exhibit signs consistent with a traumatic experience. Some will have no recollection of the event. Others may be rendered permanently comatose or psychotic. For a typical case study of an outbreak, see Incident Report SCP-701-19 Redacted 1, an analysis of the events leading up to the last uncontained SCP-701 event in Year 19 Redacted during a high school drama performance in Redacted. For more information on the play's published text, see document SCP-701-1640-B1. In short, SCP-701 is a self-evolving mimetic virus, transmitted through unknown means through the text of the play. Dr. L. Redacted has theorized that SCP-701 events may involve Expunged. This hypothesis is consistent with a spike in redacted levels detected via satellite in the vicinity of the Year 19 Redacted incident, indicating Expunged. Foundation agents are under standing orders to suppress any performance or publication of SCP-701 whenever found or detected. Despite our best efforts to the contrary, however, the play remains freely available online, sometimes under different titles. All attempts to detect or isolate the origin of these copies have failed. Suppression of the play's publication has generally been successful, with most copies of a 1971 scholarly edition destroyed before distribution. Nonetheless, copies of the 1965 trade paperback turn up with some regularity in both college and high school libraries. Agents are to obtain or otherwise destroy these items whenever possible. History. The first known publication of The Hanged King's Tragedy was a quarto dated 1640. The play's author is not listed. The publisher, one William Cook, disappeared from the historical records soon thereafter. Strangely, the text does not appear in the stationer's register. The first known SCP-701 event on record occurred in 18 Redacted during a performance of the play in Redacted, USA. Other significant incidents include the 19 Redacted performance at a small theater in Redacted, the 1964 performance at the University of Redacted, the 19 Redacted performance at Redacted University, the first SCP-701 event successfully suppressed by the Foundation, the 19 Redacted performance by a student group in Redacted, California, the 19 Redacted television adaptation by the Redacted Broadcasting Corporation, production successfully shut down by the Foundation before broadcast, and the 19 Redacted incident in Redacted, Ohio, USA, designated SCP-701-19 Redacted 1, Publication History. Original 1640 quarto, all known copies in Foundation custody, 1733 folio edition, republished 1790, 1813 Cambridge University Press edition, 1965 trade paperback edition, 1971 hardcover edition. Agents should note that copies of the play have often been misfiled under different titles or spellings of the title. Furthermore, photocopies of the 1965 text have been found in circulation throughout college theater departments in the continental United States and in the United Kingdom. Given the high probability of expunged in my mind, I again recommend that SCP-701 be upgraded to Keter class. The SCP-701 mimetic virus may very well be the forefront of an invasion scenario. Furthermore, expunged. Dr. L. Redacted. Denied. None of the current information we have on SCP-701 indicates a XK class scenario. Until we have additional data, classification will remain at Euclid. Face facts, Doctor. The cat's been long out of the bag on this one, and in this line of business, we consider ourselves lucky if we only lose 100 or so people every 10 years. 05 Redacted. Quintessence of dust. What a piece of work is man. Ruiz stood draped in purple robes. The spotlight shone down, the theater otherwise coated in black. He was racked with Hamlet's madness. Profound pain etched in his face as though he had been visited by the devil himself. Ruiz was putting it on by the bucket loads, and the audience was lapping it up. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable. He moved to his Guildenstern and Rosencrantz, looking into their eyes and seeing their souls reflected in their dull, uninterested pupils. These men were not artists. These men did not deserve their names. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. Ruiz flung his robes open, strobe lights flashing across the stage. He looked upon his entranced and enraptured audience, gazing and gobsmacked by his display. He was entertaining them. He, Ruiz, at this moment, this instant, was all they lived for, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. He was all they knew. He lived inside their minds at this very moment. They were not seeing him as he truly was. No, they were seeing him as he should be, as he wanted to be seen, as he wanted to be, and indeed, he thought, what he truly was, the sane man faking madness in a world of madmen faking sanity. Here, world, is Ruiz Duchamp, the original Hamlet. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? The lights went dark, the spotlight descended, and Ruiz was alone in the universe. To me, to me, to me. What is this quintessence of dust? No, no. Man delights not me. Ruiz looked out into the void, and the void stared back with infinite apathy. Man delights not me. No, nor woman either, though by your demeanor you seem to think so. And then the light returned, and Hamlet had his Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and the play went on, and, as we all know, they all lived happily ever after. Mr. Duchamp? What's that? Ruiz rubbed the grit from his eyes. He had fallen asleep in the middle of the gallery, during the middle of the day, for several hours, while standing up. Again. Mr. Ruiz Duchamp? Yeah, that's me. Sorry, not so good with faces. Who are you? I'm the mailman. Package for you, sir. Going to have to sign for it. Right. Ruiz groggily scribbled a half-hearted X on the offered pad. You want us to bring it in for you, Mr. Duchamp? Sure, if it's not too much trouble. Just, take it in through there, the cordoned-off bit. Careful not to touch anything. It's a bit dangerous at the moment. You know, renovations. No problem, Mr. Duchamp. The boys will be around in a bit. Cheers. Ruiz looked at the digital watch on his right wrist. It was 3:45 p.m. Ruiz looked at the analog watch on his left wrist. It was 3:45 p.m. Ruiz looked at the pocket watch and the painting in front of him. It was melting onto a tree branch, and had likely not been wound for some time. Ruiz knew not to trust readings from surrealistic timepieces, and pouted at the piece. That said, however, it was still 3:45 p.m. Ruiz walked past the reception, out the door, 3 doors down the street, entered his favorite coffee shop, and asked for a double-strength espresso, which he then used to down his daily caffeine pills, multivitamins, and antidepressants. And then Ruiz finally woke up. Shit, Carol, what's today? The stunned barista looked at the mad artist in front of her. Wednesday? Okay, good. Never mind then. I was worried it was Thursday or something. You feeling okay, Ruiz? Yeah, it's just been hectic, you know? I've been busy. Oh dear. Sit down, tell me all about it. Ruiz took a stool close to the counter. Carol smoothed her apron before sitting across from him. I decided to wage a war on a pack of ravenous artists who regurgitate uninteresting and frankly monotonous garbage by mailing out abrasive and genuinely disagreeable materials to their households, after which one of their contingent decided to metaphorically, but without the metaphor, defect to the other side, without realizing that his not defecting was an integral part of the big plan that I had in store for all of them. And so his defection kind of screwed with my intended course of action. However, after having stayed awake for all of yesterday, all of last night, and a middling portion of this morning, I've managed to rewrite the script, and hopefully I'll be able to get them dancing to my tune before the big exhibition, which is on Friday. So by then I should be on track to present my ultimate work to the ultimate critic, or should I say the critic, with both of the words capitalized, if there were an easy way to express such a thing in speaking words, whereupon he'll be so profoundly thrilled that he'll quit forever and go back to being a nobody, with that word also capitalized and a clever and subtle little joke I'm insisting on playing through to the end. What? So much for Act 1, at least. At this point, I'm kind of winging it. You know, every time you walk in here and down your pills, I wonder what the hell is actually in them. Dreams and art, Carol. Dreams and art. Another. Let's make it 3 espressos for the road. Carol tended to the machines and, after a short interval, passed Ruiz 3 more cups of his second favorite beverage. He left the shop and had finished all 3 by the time he returned to the gallery. He waved his way past the receptionists and moved past discordants into the poorly illuminated room. The delivery men had placed the big, brown box right in the center of his workplace, coincidentally allowing a lone shaft of sunlight to illuminate it like the gift from the heavens that it was. Ruiz reached for his yellow circular saw blade and sliced through the packaging, flipping the box open and letting it drop to the floor. And there, Ruiz thought, was the centerpiece he had been looking for. It was the electric chair. It was not just any electric chair. It was the electric chair. Old Sparky, first used in the Sing Sing Correctional Facility in 1891 to execute 4 prisoners. The chair elevated in a specially constructed room known only as the Death House, a veritable prison within a prison. If he was going to use an electric chair, he'd be damned if it wasn't this one. Ruiz rubbed his hand against the wooden frame, moved around, and sat in the seat where so many people had felt the cold embrace of death. He started to squeal like a schoolgirl. The director was busy. This was not particularly odd. At any given time, she was organizing the production of at least 3 plays, a movie or 2, and innumerable side projects, some of which might even see the light of day. She had, in her youth, been an actress herself, before a sprained ankle had robbed her of the stage. Instead, she had turned to directing, where she could still act condescendingly to everyone around her, and instead of being berated, was expected to do so as part of her job. She was currently arguing with her lead, Gonzalo, King of Trinculo, about his unjustified stage fright. Look, Tim, it's opening night. You've rehearsed 1,000 times, you know all your lines, and honestly, if I knew you were going to lock up like this, I wouldn't have given you the part. Now you're going to drink this bottle of water, slap yourself a few times, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and get on my damn stage in 10. Got it? Got it, boss. Got it. Woo, okay, all right. If anything, the director knew how to control her players. An aide ran to her side. Ma'am, I don't mean to alarm you, but the audience is here. Packed theater. We need to get going soon. All right. Make sure Mary's gone through makeup. We're counting down, people. Understood, ma'am. The director clapped her hands, walking briskly past the garishly bright set pieces. She moved around the corner and was suddenly facing Ruiz Duchamp. Hello, director. I'm here to see your big opening. The director wasted no time with a retort, pulling a blade from her pocket and stabbing towards him in an instant. Ruiz grabbed the knife and twisted it from her grip, neatly slicing across his fingers. He jumped backwards and applied pressure with his other hand. That was very, very rude. I'm just here to say hello. Get out of here, Duchamp. This is my show. Is it your show? I don't think you wrote it. Get out of here, Duchamp. The lost and rediscovered classic. The Hanged King's Tragedy. Get out of here, Duchamp. You know what this does, right? The director faltered. What? You are aware of what this does, aren't you? What does? The play. The play. Can't you see it? You're spouting nonsense. Get out of here. Sandra, please listen to me. The play isn't what you think it is. It's going to get out of here. Ruiz stood, staring at his old classmate. Her face was coated in the palest makeup, purple eyeshadow matching with purple lipstick. She wore her makeup like an old woman, wore the clothes of an old woman, hobbled around like an old woman, and had the obstinacy of the same. Such brilliance, such spark, yet sadly squandered in a lifetime of following others' stage directions. He could see in her eyes that nothing he could say would change her mind. Well, you can't say I didn't warn you. You want me out, I'm out. He kicked the bloodied knife across the ground towards her. Keep that with you, at least. You'll be needing it later. Ruiz turned and walked out the back door, glowing green exit sign humming above him as the lights dimmed. The director turned around, shaking doubt from her mind. She had a show to put on. Get it together. Live in 5. Look alive, people. The director was tired. She slowly regained consciousness in her cell. She had been bound by the arms and legs and propped up against a stone wall. She had absolutely no idea what was going on. Rise and shine, sweetheart. Rise and shine. A gritty voice croaked at her through a wooden door. There was a brief clattering of keys, and it swung open, revealing Agent Green, carrying a wooden stool. He walked in front of her, placed the stool down, and sat on it with a thud. Back with us again, Miss Paulson? The director remained silent. Sorry, I think we might have gotten off on the wrong foot, though admittedly, the last time we were face to face, you tried to drive a stick into my eyeball, so really, I think any foot here is probably the wrong one. The director remained silent. Sandra Paulson, were you or were you not the one who organized last night's production of The Hanged King's Tragedy? The director flinched. Ruiz had been right. I want my lawyer. Oh, sure, no problem. Here's a phone. Here's some buttons to press, and then you jump through the damn wires and you're out of here in an instant. No, Miss Paulson, you do not get a lawyer here. You know exactly who I'm with. You know exactly what your position is. And the only thing I want from you, Miss Paulson, is for you to rot in this cell for the rest of your natural days. The director remained silent. Good. Now, Miss Paulson, I'm going to ask you if you... I didn't know. What was that, Miss Paulson? I didn't fucking know. That fucking manuscript. I don't know who fucking sent it to me. I didn't check it. I just thought, shit, this looks pretty good. Some proper classic shit right here. I just finished Titus Andronicus, so I thought to hell with it. I Google it and it all seems fine. It all looks above board. I didn't fucking know. Agent Green remained silent. That grinning bastard Ruiz, he must have done it. He sent it to me, and then he came in and he rubbed it right in my fucking face. That fucking piece of fucking shit-stained fuck. Fuck. Agent Green remained silent. Fuck. All those people. Tim had fucking stage fright. I was egging him on. Sandra's tears smeared black mascara stains down her face. Agent Green pulled out a cigarette, lit it, and inhaled deeply. Miss Paulson, even if I were to believe that outburst, and honestly I don't, you have given me absolutely nothing to go on. You have, however, given me a name I have seen before. Miss Paulson, I'm going to ask you this question once, and you are going to give me every irrelevant detail, every tiny little scrap of information you have, and then I'm going to pass you over to my associates. Green exhaled a lungful of smoke into the director's sobbing face. Miss Paulson, tell me about Ruiz Duchamp.